Manny Muro, how's it going, man?
How's it going, brother? Doing well, man.
Appreciate your time, Manny.
Yes, sir. No doubt at all. Appreciate y'all reaching out to me and kind of giving me opportunity to kind of promote the fight coming up. You know what I mean?
That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, that's no problem. It's your first time on Empire Universe Media, so welcome, man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. This is uh this is one of the fun things for me. Part about being a prize fighter and a martial artist. We find some new followers and share a little bit about my story, my background, things like that.
Absolutely, man. You were just kind of cutting out of it for a second, but I was just gonna say, I noticed you got the Oklahoma shirt going on there. So how's the weather over there at the moment?
Man, back home in Oklahoma, I think it's pretty sunny, but I'm actually out here in Denver.
Oh,
I Yeah, I came out here to Team Elevation, train to prepare for my fight. I'm splitting my time between Team Elevation and Bang Muay Thai.
Oh,
what?
wow.
Yeah, what prompted that decision?
Man, honestly, for the past about 6 years, I've did my last like 10 fight camps out at Jackson Wink in Albuquerque. And I love the coaches. I love all my training partners. Everybody's amazing out there. I've made friends for life. But for me, I felt like I was getting a little comfortable. Like I was kind of just like almost I was falling into a routine, myself, and in the sport you have to constantly evolve. And I just wanted to be uncomfortable. So I wanted to start fresh. I heard so much about Team Elevation out here, and man, ever since I moved, came out here for camp, it's been amazing.
Manny, what do you think you've learned and improved since going out to Denver for this camp?
I just think the intensity, as a professional, the training partners are just, man, they're amazing. Like there's an intense, focused push, but we're keeping each other safe, if that makes sense. If I don't make it to the fight healthy, then I can't get paid, and that's how I help provide for my family, and that's where we make our living. But there's an intensity, there's that focus that's very fight like, and I love it. And the coaching um, by Carrington Banks, Coach Carrington Banks, man, has just been phenomenal wrestling. You know what I mean?
Excellent, excellent. And now that we know you're over there, how's fight camp going, and how are you feeling?
Fight camp's been going pretty amazing. My weight's coming down. Just been resting and training. Just finding a good happy medium to prepare as much as I can for this upcoming competition. I'm excited because I think you're gonna see a very, very skilled version of myself out there. Great version of myself, and I'm very confident going into this.
You spoke about training partners. Who have you been training with out there in Denver and Team Elevation and Bang Muay Thai?
Man, it's some of the guys you might not know, but they're all high level training partners. I know I've gotten in reps with Rafa Garcia. He's a UFC lightweight. Austin Hubbard, I've trained with him a few times, gotten some sparring rounds with him. Let's see, there's Coach Carrington Banks. I've gotten some wrestling in with him. His resume speaks for itself. And then some of the guys at Bang Muay Thai is Alex Fisher, Greg Fisher, Jota, uh, Omar. I don't know their last names, but man, these guys, it's crazy. Like Denver is like a breeding ground for martial artists, high level martial artists.
Just a lot of tough guys to get some rounds in with for sure, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, it's been amazing. And like the higher level your opponent, the more your skill grows, the more it forces me to level up. And I've been welcoming it, and I've, it's been great training. I'm not just being the nail, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of back and forth, and that's why I'm so excited about this competition, man. Is that like I'm prepared. if I had to go in there right now, I'd be prepared.
Absolutely. And speaking of this competition or this fight card's in Hawaii, something that Bellator has done, UFC hasn't done, PFL hasn't done. What are you excited to go to Hawaii, and have you been there before?
I've never been there before. Me and my wife have been to the Bahamas. We've been to Cancun, Mexico, but I've never been to Hawaii before. And that's it's, the funny thing is that people are like, man, that's so cool, this and that. And it is cool because, like, you know, just to be able to travel the world because of the sport. But in the same sense, man, like I'm so focused. It's a work trip, you know what I mean?
It's all
Like,
business, right?
yeah, man. Like if I go out there and enjoy the week and enjoy the festivities too much and I'm not focused, then you know that's all. This is for nothing, man. My job is to go out there, get my hand raised, collect 2 checks, and then I'll be happy. You know what I mean? Like the environment, of course, is beautiful. You know, the people are beautiful, and the opportunity for me that's really big is to get to compete in front of our military, our first responders, our healthcare workers. You know, that's all that's going to be in attendance the night that I fight, the first night. And it's humbling. Hopefully that I can put on such a great performance that it brings a smile or joy to their face. You know what I'm saying? For that 15 to 20 minutes that I compete, I hope that I can make just entertain them for a few minutes, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. And a lot of people, I don't know if they know that this upcoming fight is actually a rematch. You have fought Nate Andrews before. Are you more motivated to get a win this time?
Oh, of course. Of course. Early on in my career, I was actually 4-0. I fought for a local, I was defending my local title and I lost a split decision. I was the champion. And it was my first loss. And I was just so eager just to, you know, just to right the wrong. You know, it burned inside of me having that loss. And CES contacted me with about 3 weeks notice. And was like, hey, you know, you want to come out here, fight on Access TV, you know, more experience than me at the time. And I took it and I jumped on it. And we had a 3-round amazing fight. And now I feel like with as much as I've been through, this is going to be my 20th professional fight and his 21st. So I've seen damn near everything that you could see in the cage. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm confident that this is just going to be a competition who's leveled up more. You know,
And
it's either me or him. You know.
absolutely. And speaking of leveling up, like how cool is it seeing from fighting him in the regional scene to fighting into one of the top promotions in the world? Like just shows like hard work and, grinding. And now you guys are in the top spot fighting in Bellator in Hawaii. Like who would have thought, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, 100%. And what's crazy is that like, so Nate's an amazing guy, man. Like after our first fight, we kind of we came to each other, showed our respect, humbled ourselves to each other, and we've kept in touch, throughout our careers. He's had a career out in PFL, and he followed me and congratulated me when I got signed with Bellator. And it was kind of like one of those things in the back of my mind. I was like, man, I really feel like they might end up matching us up together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it is what it is. And, like I wish him and his family the best, but during fight night, you know what I'm saying? We're both going to try to take each other out.
Exactly. Only one person can get their hand raised at the end of the fight, unless it's a draw. But I mean,
very rarely does that happen.
I actually had a question upon that. I mean, I think it's really common that a lot of fighters I've interviewed and other fighters that have been interviewed by others. A common thing is that a lot of these fighters will fight someone in their amateur career or earlier in their pro career, and then they face them again in a promotion or a higher promotion. So is it kind of crazy to think like how small of a world it is when it comes to MMA?
Oh yeah, I think I think, the statistic that I've been given early on in my career was that like less than 1% of the population will ever get a chance to compete in the cage, like how we do. And not saying we're any better than anybody else, it's just like how you said, the it's just so small, the community. And man, I'm thankful for this opportunity, because how many times do you get to uh, after you've been where you can get another chance. But I'm on track, so I'm looking to reestablish myself in this promotion and get a new contract, and I got to go out there and perform to do that.
Yeah, you kind of cut out there. Could you kind of repeat everything?
Yeah. Uh, I was just saying, I'm just thankful that, that Bellator gave me another opportunity to compete against Nate. And I'm on the last fight of my contract, and I want to establish myself in this promotion, in this division, and like, I got to go out there and get my hand raised and be victorious to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's bigger than just this fight for me. There's, I'm looking to get a new contract. You know what I mean? Like, I think I have what it takes to be the next big thing. I say that in a humble way, but that's the confidence and the belief and the journey that I've been on.
I believe you. I think the Bellator lightweight division is wide open. And you are definitely capable of taking on any of those guys in the top 10 for sure. So going into this fight, it being your last fight in your contract, it just gives you more inspiration to put on a show, possibly get the finish, and tell Scott Coker that, you know what, I'm here, I belong here, and I want to be a top dog.
Yes, man. I mean, you think about who they've given me. So who I fought in the promotion. So my first time I fought, I was 8-2, I believe, 8-3 maybe. I fought a fellow that was 6-1. Next, they give me Nick Newell, who's 16-2. The next fight, I get a UFC veteran, Devin Powell, 10-4. This last fight that I fought was Usman Nurmagomedov, 12-0, and now they give me 16-4, Nate Andrews. And it's just like, I'm not complaining, but like, they're not handing me anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm having to go out there, and that's a hitter's role right there. And I think the last fight versus Usman, being in that cage and the preparation and things like that, I'm telling you, I got such a confidence. If I can be in that cage with that dude who is an animal, I can be in the cage with anybody.
Without a doubt.
And I mean, like, before Chris, you get to any more of your questions there, what is it like, Manny, to like fight a Nurmagomedov? I mean, a lot of people, we watch those guys, we watch those Dagestan guys on TV, but to be in the cage with him, what's the experience being to fight like such an elite group of guys from Dagestan?
Man, the experience personally for me is priceless. You know what I mean? It was priceless because the confidence, as warriors, a lot of people, we battle that fact of going in and competing. We love the training, we love testing ourselves, all these things, but it's nerve-wracking going in there against somebody who's trained to try to hurt you, and being in there and being around them. Like, they're like, they go everywhere together. Like, I remember I was cutting weight and they walk in behind me. I'm talking about like a group of like 10 to 14 of them. And I was like, in my head, I was like, man, do I leave? But I was like, I don't want to look like a punk. And so I just sit there and ride it out. And it was like a moment of growth. You know what I'm saying? If you can endure that, you got Khabib, you got, I think, I'm not sure, maybe Islam was over there, all the other guys. There was like five of their guys that were fighting on the card, and they were all in there cutting weight, and it's just like, I was like, hey man, I'm here. Like, I'm not intimidated by any of y'all. You know what I mean? I respect y'all. And they were the same with me. Like, there was no bullying going on. You know what I'm saying? They just all rode together.
And speaking of that family, it seems like all of them are literally born to train and fight. And as we can see, there's so many of them through all these promotions. What
Yeah.
inspired you, or did anyone inspire you to start training? Was there a certain moment, certain fighter, or anything like anything particular?
Yeah, there was, man. It's pretty cool because I don't really get asked this question quite a bit. But so back home, so I'm from the Kiowa tribe of Oklahoma. There's many tribes in Oklahoma, but I'm personally from the Kiowa tribe, and there's a local tribe. It's called the Comanche tribe, and they had a boxer, George Tadenapa, and they called him Comanche Boy. And for the longest time, he was undefeated. He was like 26, something like that. He was just knocking people out locally, you know. Well, he got an opportunity to fight on ESPN, one of their boxing shows, and man, just the pride that he had, the way he made me feel watching him as a Native American to go out there and compete and show his warriorness, you know, it was pretty dope. And so that's kind of like influenced me because I want to do the same thing, you know, like I want to be an ambassador, I want to be a role model. Like I welcome that platform, I welcome that mantle, you know, and I just want to represent my people the right way.
Oh, that's awesome. I respect that.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, Chris, you got anything else?
Yeah, for sure. Funny, or just a little funny question. Like after a fight, do you have any certain like cheat meal or anything in particular that you got to eat after, dieting all for 8 to 8 weeks?
Uh, man, usually Whataburger. Are you familiar with that? And
No,
Whataburger.
I don't know if we got any of
I'll
those
get
in Ontario.
I heard
me a
something about
fat-
burgers, so it sounded pretty good.
I mean, you can't complain about a burger. I mean, I can't go wrong. I love them, but
Yeah, I like the one that y'all might know. Me and my buddy Greg Fisher, we like smashing out some Krispy Kremes, bro. Krispy
oh
Kreme.
yeah.
That's where it's at, man. It's kind of like you feel it the next day after you like been eating so clean for so many weeks, and then you put that garbage in your body. You're just like,
Your stomach just doesn't know how to like produce it. And you're just like running to the bathroom in pain.
yeah, bro, that's exactly like that too. But it like you're usually victorious, and you're like it's all worth it. You know what I mean? Like it's all worth it.
Do you like kind of after you get home or you fly home from wherever you're fighting and like do you just pig out for like a day or two and then straight back to the gym or?
Man, I used to early on in my pro career, I'd go on benders, bro, to where like I'm just eating bad food, having beverages, here and there. But my body hates me for it. So now I kind of just take it sporadically. One day I might have like a burger and then, eat clean. And then maybe a couple of days later, I might have some pizza. I used to just go one after another and it just made me sick as a dog. But now it's kind of like I don't want to let loose like that. You work so hard. Why just give in like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and plus you never know when an opportunity is going to come, short notice fight, stuff like that, right?
Yeah. See, that's how this was. So I was supposed to fight Aviv Ghazali, February 12th or 19th. So I had signed a contract right after Christmas. I was supposed to come up here to Denver. I caught COVID during Christmas. And I was like, man, I had to cancel. I had to pull out of the fight. And so for about a month or two before I got the fight offer for Nate Andrews, I was training hard. I was sparring. I was doing, my classes, my 2-a-days, running, doing all of it. And so it was just like whenever I got the call, I just went right back into more training. It wasn't anything different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chris, I think you were gonna ask. I think you had a couple more, and then
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I kind of had going back to the Hawaii theme. I kind of had a random question. Who do you think, like two Hawaiians, two greats, two former champions, who do you think in their primes, and let's just say it's at 155, would win? Max Holloway or BJ Penn?
Man, BJ's a legend, bro. But like I during my time, like while growing up, I think Max Holloway. Like he's such a gangster, bro. Like his fight versus I think it was Cater.
That was just savagery.
Man, bro. I was like, I don't know who was reffing, bro, but man, like there was, we as martial artists, man, respect to Calvin Cater because like he's such a warrior, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that dude is a
Absolutely.
warrior,
But
man. And I'll go ahead.
I was just gonna add in, but I mean, then after you watch Kelvin Cater and he put a fucking clinic on, who's that guy he last fought?
Giga Triskasia, the Georgian
Ah,
guy.
He returned the favor.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, see, that's what I was just about to say too. He learned from that lesson versus Max Holloway, and he went and implemented it the same way, bro. His boxing is by far some of the best in MMA right now.
Mm-hmm.
Any
It
division.
was outstanding. He is, I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
he took that loss like a champ, and he came back stronger, more motivated, and put on a phenomenal performance. And I got
Oh
to
yeah.
respect him for that.
Oh yeah. He's a true martial artist. You know, when we lose, we go back to we try to find the host where we can clean up. You know, I've done the same thing in my career. You know, after this last fight versus Usman, I feel like I've tried to clean up a few of the things, and I'm looking forward to showing the new version of myself, the evolution of the dragon.
Excellent.
And speaking of those fighters, is there any certain fighters, either in Bellator or the UFC or even PFL, that you kind of like are must watch? Like you're really like invested in watching them, like or fan of anyone?
Oh yeah, bro. There's a couple down here in Team Elevation to where I was like almost starstruck. So like the first one was Justin Gaethje. He's in camp right now, getting ready for the title. He's
Can't
on
wait for that
the
fight.
Oh yeah.
oh bro, like you should see him in sparring, bro. I haven't had a chance to get around with him, but oh my gosh, man. Hey, that dude fights like you know what I'm saying, like there's like, oh bro, you better wear some headgear if you're scoring him. You know what I mean?
Or else you're gonna get dropped.
Uh,
Oh my God.
hey, right, yeah. Another one is Neil Magny down here, bro. He's one of the captains of the team, and then JJ Aldrich. I'm not sure if you know who she is.
Oh yeah,
No,
I
she's
watched.
Yeah,
Yeah, Magny just came off a
yeah,
nice win actually last weekend.
yeah. So the team between the local amateur and professional shows, and then Curtis and Neil uh, fighting on the UFC card. The team went 5-1 last week. Team
Wow.
Elevation. So it's they're doing the right things out here. Yeah, it's
Have,
pretty good.
have you spoken or talked to Trevor Whitman while you're out there?
uh, Not personally. Like he's kind of just been there coaching. Justin Gaethje. Like when I'll like in between rounds, or I might catch a round just a breather. Like he's sat just a few seats away from me. But man, like he's another one, bro. He comes in for sparring days. He'll be there tomorrow probably for sparring. And man, it's just crazy. Bro, and another one too. I'm sorry, this is kind of a past deal, but uh Sensei Dwayne Ludwig.
Yeah,
How bro, like I'm starstruck every time I get to see this dude in the gym, man. And he's such a martial artist. He's so respectful, such a true martial artist in a sense, man. And yeah, bro, I'd highly recommend any aspiring martial artist come check him out here in Denver.
yeah. I feel like Ludwig gets a lot of shtick for like that whole team alpha male beef, but like we all know, like when he was there, he changed the striking for so many other fighters out there. And I mean, look what he did with TJ Dillashaw, you know? So,
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm not sure yet, but we're talking about him cornering me out there in Hawaii. So
oh,
how humbling
really?
will that, yeah, how humbling will that be? You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, that's amazing. He's got to be one of the best striking coaches in the game right now, for sure.
uh, oh yeah, and
really.
it's crazy to think of the Coach Ludwig, Coach Brandon Gibson over at Jackson, Coach Mike Winklejohn, Coach Harry St. Ledger. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, it's humbling to be able to learn from these brilliant brains.
Mm-hmm.
Without a doubt.
No, I kind of rewinding here, talking about Hawaii, bringing up some names, Max Holloway, BJ Penn. I want to talk a little bit about what do you think it would take for Dana White to bring the UFC to Hawaii? Because he still hasn't done it. And it's been a common thing that, guys like Max Holloway and other Hawaiian fighters in the UFC in the past have really been pushing and talking about. What do you think it takes?
Man, I don't know. I think maybe the people calling for, requesting it, reaching out to him. Social media has such a huge platform nowadays that like I think them doing that like would, if there's enough interest, and the thing about the Hawaiian people, man, there's some scrappers, bro. There's some scrappers, I can guarantee that if the UFC followed like how Bellator did, the event would just sell out, easily, easily. I mean, look at it. Bellator's doing 2 shows. You know what I mean? They're doing 2 shows, not back-to-back nights, and you have to be pretty confident, in doing things like that you're gonna have a good following come out.
Well, and I'm curious, and I guess I'm asking this again, but I'm curious if the UFC doesn't want to bring it because they don't have enough Hawaiian fighters and they don't want to just make the card based off of one fighter, not taking anything away from Max Holloway. But do you feel like maybe they're not doing it because they don't have as many Hawaiian fighters versus they might make like they could easily make a card for Africa, which I think they have discussed. You could easily put Ngannou, Kamaru Usman, and I'm trying to think who's
Adesanya.
Yeah, Adesanya. All 3 of those guys on that card. I guarantee you, it would blow like pay-per-view buys.
Oh man, I say the same thing. Like I think they have enough pool. I do. If you just headlined with Max Holloway, and then you put a bunch of maybe you're in the middle out there in Hawaii, so you could do people from Europe or Asia, and then you could do some Americans, of course. I think the people are such combat sport fans and such warriors. I don't think you'd have a problem selling out.
100%. And one thing that I had for you, and we didn't touch upon, but the Dragon. What's the story behind the nickname? How did you get it? And did you have any other options at that time?
Man, so I own a barbershop, and when I'm not training, I work at the barbershop, and my guys can be kind of silly. So one day my older cousin, kind of just terrorized me and said, I think we're gonna call you the Rooster. He said, you're part Mexican. He said, you fight. He said, and I was like, no, I don't really like that. And my first jiu-jitsu coach, Shaw Artichoker, he's a very traditional guy, very humble. And one day he approached me. He said, Manny, I've been thinking about it. And he said, I have a name, but I want to know if you will accept it. And he told me the name, explained it, that it just comes from my humble nature, my willingness to work hard and be diligent to the craft. He said it just reminds him of an old school martial artist, if that makes sense. And I didn't want to accept it at first because the names that have been given that before, but I humbly did. And it's crazy because now that persona has taken on a life of itself with those that I train with and those that know me in my community. Like everybody calls me Dragon. Like it's weird. It's weird to say it because I still don't even think I'm worthy of that name.
For sure, for sure. And I was gonna say there's a lot of other fighters that have had that name. Sometimes like you don't want to take a nickname that's been overused or whatnot. I know there's some fighters that like there's like multiple fighters that all have the same nickname, but I guess you kind of have to take what you got, right?
Yeah, it is. It's humbling, man. People call me that, and I always make a joke and say I'm not the Dragon. That's only on fight night. I said any other time during practice, I said you can call me like the salamander, or the iguana, or the gecko, or something. I said the only time you see the real Dragon, I said, is on fight night. Any other time, I'm just trying to bust my tail and get better.
And what's the Dragons' prediction on fight night?
Man, I feel I'm gonna get a finish. I'm gonna get a finish. I wouldn't blink if I was you guys, man. If you guys get a chance to catch the card, I wouldn't blink, man. I'm talking about the elevation out here. I'm coming out and I'm pushing a hard pace, bro. I'm gonna bite down on my mouthpiece and I'm gonna let it fly. I'm gonna be let it fly, man. I'm very motivated, gentlemen. Very motivated. It's a controlled passion. It's not like I'm going out there like a bar fight. But I'm gonna get the finish.
No, I can tell by this conversation, just by the sound of your voice, you seem very locked in, very focused, and now I'm just very excited to watch you perform.
Thank you guys, man. I appreciate your time, gentlemen. This is awesome. Hopefully we get another chance to reach out to each other in the future.
I'd love that. That'd be incredible.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, we are actually running out of time here on Zoom here. So I'd just like to ask one more question, if you don't mind. So what are your plans after this fight? And looking at 2022, what are the plans for this year?
Right after the fight, man, I'm gonna give my family some time. I got 3 beautiful girls back home. My beautiful wife, Courtney. I always like to give them time, you know what I mean? Devote time to them because they sacrifice so much with me being away from them and everything. And then I'm just going to get back on the horse and keep evolving. I would love for Bellator to keep me more active. And I understand with COVID and restrictions and different things like that. But man, the best versions of myself is when I'm active. I love being active. You know what I mean? I don't like going 9, 10, 11, 12 months in between fights. So, I'm looking forward to having a busy 2022. I'll stay ready and continue climbing the ranks, man, because like you guys said, I feel like I have what it takes to be special in this promotion.
For sure, man.
Oh yeah, looking forward to hopefully a big and active year for yourself, Manny.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Well, Chris, if you don't have anything else, I guess
I'm good.
Well, Manny, again, man, it's a pleasure having you on here. Again, thank you for taking your time. It's always a pleasure talking with you. And like you said, yeah, we'd love to have you back on whenever you have a fight next.
Boss, thank you guys. You guys be blessed.
Take care. Have a good one, Manny.
Yes, sir.